Hello, you stonkingly beautiful people. How are you? Today I'm talking about faith and the least uncertain people. I'll tell you all about it on the other side. So let me tell you about a book that I'm listening to at the moment. It's an audio book. And it's a book that's designed for caregivers, people like doctors, nurses, therapists, anybody who is in the business of caring for other people, helping other people. And I always like, if there's one thing that I can take from a book, then I know that that book was worthwhile reading. I mean, there's zillions that I'm taking from this book. But one of the things that the guy's talking about is a study that they made with little children, and it's not a bad study. I know some of the studies they do are awful. This was a good one. What they wanted to understand was, what are babies attracted to? How do they know who to pay attention to? Remember, babies come into this world with nothing. They are vulnerable. They need a constant help, guidance, food, clothing, cleaning. They're just helpless, okay? And they know it. Babies know. They've got, they rely completely on their caregivers. So how do they know who they should pay attention to? Well, how it works is that babies only pay attention or give the majority of their attention to the person in their circle who is the least uncertain. Now, I know that sounds like a strange thing, the person who is least uncertain. And you could say, well, the most certain person. But it actually comes through as the least uncertain. It's a bit like money. They say money doesn't make you happy. It makes you less dissatisfied. Well, it's the same premise, that children, babies, pay attention to the person who is the least uncertain. Because there's always uncertainty in people, babies pick them up on the voice, the way that people act, etc. And so they're always looking for the person who seems to know the most and who is most congruent in what they do. That tends to be the parents, not always, but most times, because other people will go, oh, aren't you lovely, right, I'm off now, she's crying, you better sort it out, yeah? So that's why babies pay attention to the parents. And what the parents do and say to them is the most important. Hence the fact that in the first 7 years, how our parents bring us up is fundamental in how we are as people, because we give them all of our attention and we allow them to change us. Yeah. What happens? That program doesn't disappear as we get older. We don't suddenly then start being attracted to less certain people. No. And it's always in times when we feel vulnerable, when we feel scared, when we feel out of control, when there's something going wrong. We look instantly for the person that's the least uncertain. Now, do you think that the baddies know that? Yes. Yes, they do. And so have we had, what have we had if you think about all of the shit show of leaders that we have, the shit show of media that we have? What do? They dress smartly, they have a tie on, they have a serious voice. They tip their head to one side and they nod, and they have very good script writers who make them sound extremely congruent, just like I'm doing here now. And we, in times of trouble, that's where we look, because they're the least uncertain. They're the ones who are giving us this message of certainty. Okay? And therefore we listen to them, but not just listen. We will do what they tell us to do, because they are the parents. Right, we're living in a parent state, aren't we? That's what this is all about. Democracy, so-called, is just having a parent who tells you what to do. Okay? Everything in society is built around that. Schools, the teacher is a parent who tells you what to do. You go to work, the boss is a parent who tells you what to do. Right? And so that's what they know. They know that all they have to do, if you think about everything that they do, they create trauma, they create a catastrophe, and then somebody comes and says, well, what we have to do is go and bomb 1 million people, or whatever, yeah? And everyone goes, that's right, because he's the least uncertain, and we have to listen, because they know better, yeah? They've been playing on that. That's why newsreaders read in a certain way. You never get a newsreader going, hey, you know what happened in Gaza the other day? No. In Gaza the other day. No. Dee. And this is terrible. And this is dangerous to our democracy. Okay? So they've been using that for yonks. However, it's wearing a bit thin. It's wearing incredibly thin. Why? Because what's happening is this wonderful thing that's going on. And what it is that we are losing faith in politicians, in doctors, in the media, in the finance. We're losing faith. We are seeing them for what they are. Liars, cheats, corrupt. They don't care about us. So what's happened, and this is what's happening now, and this is happening all over. Oh my God, I tell you what happened to me the other day. I was looking through Facebook. I don't look through Facebook. I stopped looking through Facebook yonks ago because it was just horrible. But I posted something on Facebook for my business, and I just thought, I'll just scroll down. I was left gob open. My gob was hanging on the ground. It was filled with what you would call conspiracy stuff. Stuff about the governments, about the this. It was all over the shant, as we say. And I was thinking, when did that happen? Because Facebook used to be, you put anything, like I do not like off. Yeah, I think that's unfair off. And it's everywhere. And I was very impressed by that. And that was good. So, people are starting to realize that these so-called parents are extremely faulted. They are faulty. They are broken. And they are not telling us the truth. So what happens as little babies, right? We see all these terrible things happening and we look. But we don't look at them because they do not have the authority anymore. They've lost the authority. And this is enormous for them. This is why they spend so much time trying to cancel, trying to suppress all of this, because it isn't that they don't want people to know or whatever. It's the knock-on effect of, if we lose credibility, they're not going to listen to us. And if they don't listen to us, then they're going to start doing something else. They won't do what we tell them. And this is where we are. And it's incredible. So, what happened to us? To us, the truthers, when all of the bad stuff happened during, the beginning of 2020. What happened to us? Well, we knew that we couldn't listen. We knew that everything that the politicians were saying was a big pile of shit. So we had to look for the people who were the least uncertain about what was going on. And we found them, didn't we? The people who were saying, don't worry, next month, blah, blah, blah. Biden won't get in because what'll happen is blah, blah, blah. And they were absolutely certain. They were congruent in what they were saying. I was taken in. It was like, somebody's got to sort this out. Ooh, look, listen to what Charlie Ward's saying. Whew, and he keeps getting messages from the letter 17 group. And then it didn't happen. And we were, bummer. Like, it didn't happen. Okay, why? Because, for whatever reason, I've got my theories about what all of that was about. Okay, but if you listen to them now, they've changed the tune. Now, they've lost authority. They lost authority. Loads of people still follow them. I'm talking about the Charlie Ward types. Right? And I admire Charlie Ward. I mean, my God, the guy I think he had a heart attack or something. And he's back and he's doing his stuff. Right? I don't think there was anything wrong with those messages, except they were too premature. They were very premature. For whatever reason, For whatever reason, they were very premature, but they truly believed them. And we did too, because they were the least uncertain in this uncertain world. Now, where are we? We can't believe them. Who do we believe? I'm trying to talk with as much certainty in my voice as possible, but I haven't got a fucking clue. Okay? I haven't got a clue. However, the emissaries tell me lots of things. And what they said was this, and I'm going to come on to this in more depth in the next message, which is from the Jesus energy. But basically, what happens is this. We have all of this need to find certainty. We need to find it. We are in a vacuum. People are uncertain. We don't like that. We don't like it as children and we don't like it as adults. Where do we look? Where do we turn? What do we do? We can't trust the Truther movement because they let us down. We can't trust any of the system because they let us down a long time ago and continue to. So what's left? Well, I'll tell you all about that in the next video. I love you all. I'll see you all soon.